My biggest problem is negativity wants to be viral. People want to drag people down to their unhappiness. I believe when I talk to myself about like, what are you doing? What I'm interested in is my generosity of the positivity. I notice all the people I've come across in life that are like me just keep to themselves and enjoy their happiness. I'm willing to take the fucking arrows and all the shit that comes along with putting yourself out there for the purpose of positivity. And I think a lot more happy people have to take on that challenge.
Yeah, that's, I've thought of it like that. It's almost like you're doing like a noble, because the reason I'm identifying is because I can see myself a little bit like that, you know, like I can see like I'm kind of like one of those people, you know, that.
Well, it's probably what attracted you to me, right? Like you can see it.
I agree with everything you're saying, like, you know.
It's why you're pushing yourself.
Yeah.
It's why you're pushing yourself. It's cool. If that's your engine, then you're really gonna have a good time at this.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think a lot of people do what I do for a living for the money and the fame. For me, it's for the satisfaction that I didn't live life selfishly. That is great joy for me. I really enjoy it. I've had to find my own balance in that because for me as someone who loves to give, what I do is when I don't communicate with the people I'm giving love to, well, it leads to resentment. I've had to be on a reverse journey of most people. But it's a big opportunity. That's a really noble mission. You'll always have energy for it. When you do it for the money and the fame, you will run out of gas.
Yeah.
When you do it because you feel like you want to leave a positive deposit, you'll do it to the end.
Yeah, again, just going back to, you know, thinking 80, 90, that's what I've been thinking about lately is like, you know, because that seems to be the only, you know, that's something kind of to kick me into gear is like, well, death, you're gonna die. So when you do die, do you want to be able to look back and say like what did you leave like the world with, right? What was your lasting impression? Did you just do nothing or a hermit, or were you negative, or did you leave it, you know, with a bunch of positivity?
Right, positive, neutral, or negative.
Yeah. Right now I'm neutral. No.
But you're not, because you've already started the positive journey,
Sure.
which is huge.
Yeah. And you know, I was talking to Dustin earlier, like it's once, you know, like once I get going, like I can feel it, like
the momentum.
The game plan, the strategy. I mean, the individual creatives, yeah, those always need tweaking, but the strategy, you know, I just tell people just follow what you say. It's just so simple. Just the volume. Volume is going to dominate, right? I do obsess a little bit over quality, but
I do too. But I think quality is subjective.
Yeah.
Quality is subjective. What Dustin thinks is a quality BMX video is not something I even want to consider watching, let alone beginning to judge if it is. If you're not interested in buying things at garage sales and selling them on eBay, trash talk is very low quality. Meanwhile, thousands of people have emailed me that it's the thing that got them to get clearing debt or creating a nice family vacation. That is massive value. When the two themes of trash talk are, I cleared debt, oh my God, I can't believe it, by buying t-shirts and trinkets and mugs at garage sales, or my family had a nicer vacation this year. Both of those are profoundly top 15 things in life. But if you're not interested, the reason I always love volume is the numbers is not a debate. If you post 19 times a week versus 4, you've posted 19 times versus 4. This concept of like, well, my 4 are quality and your 19 aren't, Gary, that's insecurity and ego debating with me, not truth. If that, we don't have a universal quality guide. There's too much interest and intrigue and too many nuances, and so, somebody said to me that I know pretty well, that's of my age, he's like, Gary, I gotta really cut social out. It's just like a complete waste for me. And I'm like, cool, brother, but I know you, and what you were doing in that same time was just watching TV, which is fine, not negative or positive. One could argue that you have way more control over your algorithm. For example, one thing I'm fascinated about, I have to make a piece of content about this. I've completely changed my algorithms. I just decided that I wanted to see a lot more business news because I'm making a lot more green screens, right? And so instead of spending time, this is so funny. You know how people are like, social media is a waste of time? I just made social media a time efficient machine for me. I and the team look for headlines for me to make content to talk about. When the team's sharing stuff, what they think is good, and a lot of times like it works and a lot of times it doesn't work. Like I'm not into that, I don't wanna talk about that. So I've put it on myself. So a lot in the last 30, 40 days, 60 days, I'm like spending 10, 15 minutes looking for headlines and like news that's a lot of time in my life right now where I'm at. And then I realized like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna follow like 50 accounts on Instagram and TikTok that I looked at their accounts and I'm like, this is exactly the kind of imagery that I would do a headline against. And let me just follow, and like now it's coming to me. I changed my entire algorithm. Everyone's like, the algorithm just wants you to stay on. So if you show the algorithm that you want, so like literally the number one hack for everyone in the world that claims they're unhappy with social is to go to the search bar on TikTok or Instagram and search the subject matters they think are bringing them value, follow 50 accounts, like their content the first time they show up, and your whole algo will change. If you're gonna rubberneck to car crashes, you're gonna be upset if that's all you do. I think there's a profound, like this goes back to self-accountability. When I was growing up, it was all bashing TV. Kids are watching too much TV. Kids are watching too much TV. Kids are watching too much TV. It's just this, it's the way the world turns. Yeah, it's been really interesting changing my algo. It's been good, very efficient.
I was watching, I saw you posted something too about sometimes you, I thought it was funny. Sometimes you really try to mess it up, you'll search like pickles or stuff like that.
Yeah, just to like learn.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like I think social media is like a wild horse. Either you're gonna figure out how to tame it and work for you, or it's gonna run wild and like be a bull in a china shop. Like, it's bullfighting. Either you can tame it, or you are gonna get pierced by it. And I think that's on the person, because every person can delete the app. I hate this thing, delete.
Yeah.
Discipline. It's really interesting, but like definitely for learning, I'm really actually like feel like I'm more on top of shit right now because of the way my feed is going.
In terms of?
I'm just seeing a lot of like I'm by nature am like a very good entrepreneur, but like I'm not a macro or micro economist.
Right.
So like I'm not like with what's going on with the recession or potential recession or whatever people want to call it, the global economy, like I'm enjoying the headlines I'm getting, and then what I'm doing is, social's very fast, so I'll see a headline of like, this is, the US may default. I'm like, what is that? Like, I'm not like I know the title, but then like, because I saw it in the feed, and because it was Sunday afternoon, and instead of like sitting down and reading a book, it's amazing. Reading a book on a Sunday afternoon with like a nice cup of tea or glass of wine, that seems like very classy. Being on your phone seems like, right? But like for me, it was like, boom, to then Google, to then I'm like in school, but it's on my phone.
No, I know, it's.
People are judging the medium instead of what you're doing inside of it. Why break down the fear for me for 5 seconds for fun.
I think it's just.
What people think?
Yeah.
And was that a cultural thing? Was that a family thing? Like I think, for example, I'll give you an example. I'm incredibly private. People are confused by that when I say it, but like, I don't share my personal life, and never have. But I think that's a family history thing because my family grew up in the Soviet Union, and the only way you survived in the Soviet Union was by privacy.
Yeah.
Everyone was scared. Yeah. If somebody tattletaled on you, and the government would put you in jail or worse. So for generations, my family's like, you don't talk about anything.
So that's interesting. So you're saying that that mindset you developed there, that was more from how you were raised instead of, I always thought that was just you were sheltering your family, like your personal stuff from the public, or maybe a bit of both there.
I think it was naturally in me to be private, and then I think I quickly understood that I had it. Like I remember vividly being a year into Wine Library TV and being like, oh, like a lot of people may know who I am one day. Like knowing that there was more. And so I feel like I consciously knew that it would be a good thing to protect that. But that wasn't that was the number 2 thing. The number 1 thing was my whole life I've been private. It's my natural state. I don't want to, it's very funny, it's very empathetic, by the way. One of the reasons I'm private is that I don't want other people to have to worry about me. My biggest weakness up to this point in my life is the inability to be vulnerable. I just don't want to put baggage on people. People have their own, it's also my greatest gift. In a world where I know most people are struggling with shit, and really, the things that I struggle with are like it's just shocking to me how little ability I have to dwell on my biggest concerns. The thought that anything lasts a day is profound.